Today, we are diving into one of the most personal and honestly one of the most misunderstood parts of any long-term relationship: desire. What really happens when you start to feel like it's fading? So let's just start with this question right here, because it's a big one. If you have to put sex on the calendar, does that mean the passion is dead? If that thought has ever crossed your mind, it comes with this heavy feeling, right? It feels like you failed somehow, like the magic is just gone. But what if that whole idea is just wrong?
Well, first off, you are definitely not alone. This is an incredibly common assumption. The belief that desire has to be spontaneous is, frankly, everywhere, and it causes a ton of damage in relationships that are otherwise really healthy and loving because it sets this impossible standard that almost no one can live up to.
Okay, so let's just tear down that standard, shall we? We're going to dismantle this spontaneity myth and get to the real reason desire tends to fade over time. And I'll give you a little hint. It's almost certainly not for the reason you think it is.
Let's just get this out of the way immediately because it's the most important thing to hear. A drop in spontaneous desire is almost never a sign that the love is gone. That fear, that panic can send couples into a total tailspin. But the real reasons, they're actually a lot more ordinary and way more fixable.
So here they are, the real culprits. This isn't a relationship crisis. This is just life. You've got work, you've got stress, you've got all the to-do lists. It all adds up to what you could call mental crowding. It's like your brain is just too full. And in that crowded space, routine and predictability feel safe, but they slowly, quietly push out all the curiosity the desire really needs to survive. All right, so if routine is the problem, how in the world could adding another routine, a schedule, possibly be the solution? This is where we need a really powerful reframe. We have to look at the true purpose of scheduling intimacy because it's not what most of us think it is. And this right here is the absolute core of the idea. The misconception is that a calendar invite for sex means you have to go through the motions like a robot. And yeah, that sounds terrible, but the reality is so much deeper. A schedule is a shield. It's about protecting a little bubble of time from all that mental crowding we were just talking about. It's a way of saying, hey, this time right here, this is ours. No distractions allowed. This brings us to a really key psychological concept called responsive desire. See, early on in a relationship, desire is usually spontaneous. It just hits you out of the blue. But for a lot of people, over time, it shifts. It becomes responsive. And what that means is that desire doesn't just show up on its own anymore. It needs to be invited. It emerges after you've already started creating a feeling of closeness and anticipation. And that's not a bug. It's a totally normal, healthy evolution. So how does that invitation actually work? Well, it's a chain reaction. When you protect that time on your calendar, you create anticipation. You know it's coming. And that anticipation gives your imagination a chance to kick in. And our imagination is one of the most powerful engines for desire that exists. So you see, the schedule isn't the event itself, it's the launch pad. But protecting the space is really only half the battle. What do you actually do inside that protected space? This is where the true catalyst comes in, the thing that really ignites desire, and that's curiosity. Think of it this way. The schedule is the container, but curiosity is the content. You can set aside all the time in the world, but if you just fill it with the same old assumptions, the same old routines, it's still gonna feel flat. Curiosity is the active ingredient. It's what brings the whole thing back to life. And here's another huge myth we need to bust. We all hear that novelty is what keeps desire alive, and we immediately think that means we need new partners. But that's not it at all. Real, sustainable novelty doesn't come from new people. It comes from paying new attention to the person you are already with. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it starts by fighting that little voice that says, oh, I already know everything about them. Because you don't. They're still growing and changing. So ask a question you've genuinely never asked before. Notice a small shift in their opinion about something. Break one of your unconscious habits. Sit on a different side of the couch. Suggest doing something totally out of the blue. It's all about being engaged, not just going on autopilot. Okay, so let's bring these two huge ideas together. This idea of protected space and this mindset of active curiosity. When you combine them, you get the foundation for what you could call a truly intentional relationship. Every healthy long-term relationship is this incredible balancing act between two core human needs. On one side, you've got predictability. We need that. It creates safety and security. But the risk, of course, is boredom. And on the other side, you've got curiosity. It creates excitement, that feeling of being alive. But its risk is anxiety.
The magic happens right in the middle, in a relationship with enough safety to feel secure, but enough aliveness to feel excited. So here's the solution in a nutshell. You combine the structure of protected time with the mindset of active curiosity. What this does is create an environment where desire is invited, but it's not demanded. It gives it space to show up without all the pressure to perform, and that is the exact condition that responsive desire needs to thrive. So really, the big takeaway is this. We have been sold a story that passion should be effortless, that it should just happen spontaneously, forever. But the reality is that in a long and full life, the things we value most, our careers, our health, our friendships, are the things we take care of with intention. And our intimate relationships are no different. And that brings us to the end. I want you to forget the pressure of trying to create spontaneous magic out of thin air, and instead think about the quiet power of loving intention. So as you go about your week, I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. What is one small, intentional act you can take? Maybe it's just protecting 15 minutes of phone-free time together. Or maybe it's just asking one curious, unfamiliar question. Because the architecture of desire isn't built by accident. It's built on purpose.